Welcome back to the Seven Generation Podcast. This is your host, Dr. B. And I'm just sitting back here, drinking a little bit of coffee. Um, really enjoying that new intro music. And one of my students put that together for me. So, pretty happy with it. Anyway, so my last episode, I wanted to talk about the Savages MC, and I didn't get to it because I wanted it to be just a really quick check in. I hadn't done an episode in a while, and I wanted to talk a little bit about my TikTok journey and just things have been going on uh, in my life. And I wanted to get to the Savages MC and talk a little bit about what that movement is all about. But I didn't get a chance to even really get into Savages. So I thought I would do a quick episode here and talk about the Savages Motorcycle Club, which is a new club that just came out. And as most of you all know, I am a member of the Pacific Savagez MC. Pacific Savages have been around for nearly 20 years now. You know, it's Polynesian indigenous club, and Pacific Savages have just done an outstanding job of growing over the years. And when I first met the Pacific Savages, I was really um, interested in their movement, and I really like what I saw when I first met them and met some of the founders. But top from bottom, Pacific Savage is just an outstanding MC, and I was lucky enough to be able to make it into the club, and I've been enjoying my journey really from day one. You know, it's not always easy being in a motorcycle club, but it's definitely always interesting. It's always an adventure, and so I have just really enjoyed my time as a member of the Pacific Savages. And the organization decided that they would create an additional club called the Savages. So I'm a member of the Pacific Savages, and now we have the Savages MC, and that's been in the works for quite a while, long before I even came on board. And I don't want anybody to get the idea that I created the Savages MC. I've been a big supporter of this move to create this new club, but it's just growing our organization, growing the empire, as we like to call it. And so it's not about creating a support club. The Savages MC is not a Pacific Savage support club. This is a brother club. It's equal um, to one another as brothers, and we all share the same lane. We all have very similar ethics, morals, values, life ways, and so forth. So, Pacific Savages Motorcycle Club obviously is not going anywhere. The Savages AMC is just our empire making another chess move and kind of shaking things up a bit. So, there isn't a lot of, I think, organizations in the motorcycle club community that have done something like this. And the Pacific Savages have always just kind of done things their own way, which is something that I have a lot of respect for when it comes to the empire. The empire just, decided to, create something that was in line with their indigenous islander values. And of course, those islander values align really well with Native Americans and indigenous peoples here on Turtle Island, which is what we call North America, if you don't know what Turtle Island means. So the Pacific Savages have been really open to bringing in Native Americans and other indigenous peoples besides islanders. And I'm one of those individuals that have been welcomed into the club, and I feel very blessed to be a member, very humbled to have the opportunity to be a part of the organization. Considering just how it runs and how it operates, being an independent club is not easy. Being an independent club in an area where the Pacific Savages started up in the Bay Area makes it even more difficult. So they had a lot of challenges as an organization. And if you want to know more about the history, if you want to know more about Pacific Savages, you can check out the episode that I released with them. I don't even know, 3, 4 years ago now. And it's a really, really great episode. And some great leaders in the Pacific Savages MC. I mean, that's one thing I do think that makes the club um, very, very strong is that it has really great leadership. It's not about one individual. It's not about, you know, one person controlling everything, telling everybody how to do things and basically dictating everything. The Pacific Savages, the entire empire has really strong leadership, some really strong personalities, and also very independent minded people. And so, and you might think, well, independence, being an independent minded person maybe doesn't really work well with being an MC, but I think it does in this case because you're allowed to have a lot of autonomy in the club, and you can do what you feel is best for your chapter, for your tribe, for the people that you represent. And I really like the autonomy that they give their members. I mean, obviously, there's rules to follow, but there's rules in life. When people say, I could never join a motorcycle club because there's just too many rules. And I'm like thinking to myself, well, there's rules in everything that we do. You can't just do what you want to do at your job. I mean, even if you own your own business, there's certain things that I own my own business. I can't just do what I want to do. Now, I have a lot of autonomy, obviously. You have more autonomy if you own your own business, but I don't have so much autonomy that I can just break the law. There's rules, there's norms that I have to follow. So there's a lot of, bikers who I think they're critical of motorcycle clubs or what have you because of the rules that we have. And we do have a lot of rules, but there's rules in life, and that's just the way it goes. So just like anything else you do, there's always going to be some kind of rule or rules that you have to follow. So, but my attraction to the empire was always just their independence, and it just fit well with my personality. I always felt like uh, when I saw the Pacific Savages doing their thing, that it was something that was a good fit for me. And I was lucky enough to become a member. Now, with this new organization, is basically the same. Everything is pretty much the same. We have a new patch, and I'll talk about the patch and how that came about. But basically, everything is the same organization. Um, obviously, there's going to be some differences, and some of those things I can't really even get into because it's our organization, and there's some information we don't give out. But basically, same lane that we've created a lane for indigenous bikers, and the Savages MC is just another way to bring more people into our family, into the Savage family, to the Savage Empire. So that way, more people can be able to enjoy the things that we enjoy as Pacific Savages, as savages. And so, for the bikers out there who don't want to be in a traditional motorcycle club and want to do something different, something that fits in line with their values, with their cultural life ways, whether you're Islander or you're Native or you're a Chicano biker who is really interested in your indigenous life ways, this could be a good fit for you. It could be. It's not always a good, because this is not for everybody. And what I mean by that, it's not that motorcycle clubs aren't for everybody. That's obvious, right? Motorcycle clubs are not for every biker, by all means. But even if you are a biker, and even if you are interested in a motorcycle club, this motorcycle organization, or this biker organization, whatever you want to call it, the Empire, Pacific Savages MC is not for everybody. You do have to be a particular kind of person. And we do want particular kind of people. And we want strong leaders, for one, and we want people who can stand on their own. That's a big part of being in our club. You have to stand on your own 2 feet. And you can't be asking for favors from other clubs to come and take care of you. We take care of ourselves. We take care of each other. And we're not looking for handouts. We're not looking for other organizations to come to our aid if we need it. And we want to have good relationships with everybody. We want everybody to have a general understanding of who we are and what we represent. But that's about as far as it goes. And of course, showing respect to everybody. Our organization does follow, MC protocol in that way, showing respect. Um, but at the same time, we're not gonna bow down to anybody. We're not going to compromise like who we are as men uh, to to try to fit in. We're not looking to fit into any particular uh, MC culture. Again, we've created our own lane, a lane for us, and we give respect to other MCs. Um, Much love and respect to everybody out there, every individual. Try to give respect to everybody, and we're not, out there trying to cause trouble or anything like that. I'm not saying that anybody else is, but we're certainly not. That's not how we roll. So the Savages is a great opportunity for indigenous bikers, Native Americans, uh, to join our movement and to have a place. And we've uh, created this lane. Now, this is very, very new. I mean, we're talking about less than 6 months old. And so it's going to take some time to see where this goes. But I'm really excited about it. I'm really, really looking forward to the future. I think we have the right people right now who are trying to push the movement. And there's always going to be some controversy, obviously, even within our own members, people who don't understand. People are going to think, well, why are we doing this? This doesn't make any sense. We have Pacific Savages. Why do we need another motorcycle club? But again, this is, the Pacific part of it, and this is where I think I try to explain to people is for a lot of bikers, the Pacific part of it, it may not resonate with them, especially if we're talking about moving into Oklahoma or Texas or wherever. And I'm not saying that we're in those areas. I'm not giving out that kind of information. But what I'm saying is that some people have never even seen the Pacific. So for us, where we're living out here on the West Coast, it makes sense for obviously islanders who are descendants from the Pacific. Makes sense for those of us live here on the West Coast. So Savages opens up the door for other natives and our supporters and people who support this way, this movement, and are brave enough to be able to live and walk this way in the MC community. It's a chance for them to be able to have uh, what we have, to be able to enjoy what we have. So where it goes, I don't even know. I mean, I have my hopes, obviously, and a vision that I see, but at the same time, you just never know. And there's always going to be bumps in the road. There's always going to be um, issues that come up. But what I can say to our members who are a little skeptical, just give us some time and have an open mind. Let's think about how we can build this organization, make it better. And if this is a way that we can do it, then we should all be supportive of it within our organization. And whatever bumps in the road that we hit, well, we've hit a lot of bumps in the road. We're not trying to make it easy. We're trying to do something people haven't done, trying to live the way that we want to live and do the things that we want to do. We shouldn't be afraid to try something different and do something that is going to potentially be really big for our organization. So who knows? I mean, where this Savage MC may take us. I mean, I'm hoping that it'll it'll be big, and I think it's going to be big. It's going to take some time. It's going to take a lot of effort. It's going to take a lot of cooperation. It's going to take a lot of creativity, all those things. But again, that's kind of what makes our organization, I think, one of the best organizations out there that I've ever been a part of, is the fact that we're doing our thing the way that we want to do it. So, but yeah, this is a very exciting movement, and I'm happy that I had a chance to be a part of it. So I was asked to participate some, and obviously if it entails bringing more natives into our club, I was all about it. So when I heard about this and what the purpose was behind it, of course, I was just like, let's go. Let's give this a shot. Let's see how far we can take this movement. And so I was super, super excited to see uh, the the effort to try to put this together, and the fact that it's come to fruition and it's out. Savages are out. They're out there, and um, I can tell you where, but they're there. If you want to know more about Savages or Pacific Savages, we do have a website, Pacific Savages .org or pacificsavagesmc.org. So you can reach out to us there. We have an IG, TikTok, and of course you can reach out to me directly, 7gen podcast on IG or Merciless Savages on TikTok. And then you can inquire about both organizations. So, but yeah, the patch, let's talk a little bit about that, because that's always like a big thing that when you're doing a new club, it's like, well, what's the patch going to look like? And I really do love the Pacific Savages, uh, the whole patch setup. I loved it from the first time I saw it, and obviously I'm super proud to wear that every time I put it on. I every time I see it, whenever I see pictures of it, our brothers out there riding with our Pacific Savages patches on, it's just I love our patch setup, and I really wanted to see that the Savages patch setup would be very similar. Obviously not the same, but very similar. So it is. It has a very similar setup. It's a very similar look, and with the Pacific Savages, with the top rocker says Pacific Savages, the bottom rocker says mainland. Mostly, mostly. There's some other bottom rockers you might see out there. In fact, I wear a bottom rocker that says Turtle Island. Just one of just a couple of people who wear that for Pacific Savages. Myself and one of my brothers. So for Savages, the top rocker is Savages, the bottom rocker, not for all, but for some of the members, it's Turtle Island, and of course that represents North America. So don't get it twisted. We're not claiming North. Nobody's claiming anything. We don't claim territory. That's not what we do. The empire does not claim territory. We just claim to represent our communities the best way that we can, the best way that we possibly can, to help, to assist, to be available, and of course to ride our motorcycles, to be proud of our culture, to be proud of the color of our skin, to be proud of the way that we look, all of that. That's the whole point of our organization, is that, and that's why we use that term savage, because we were called savages when colonizers arrived, whether it was in the Pacific, whether it was in Hawaii, the islands, wherever, they referred to us as savages. And this is the story of colonialism. This is the story of settler colonialism. And so we've taken that term and we have made it our own. And the way I like to say it is like the savage term belongs to us now. So yeah, I'm a proud savage. And so now we have the Savages MC and a bunch of other natives out there who want to come on board or have a motorcycle and want to give it a go. Now we have options for you. And there's some people maybe look at our movement like, oh, it's mostly islanders. And it's true. It's mostly, we have a lot of islanders, a lot of Asians. But the reality is that we're indigenous peoples, and we have a very similar outlook, life ways, value system, all that. And so for us to come together is just going to make us stronger. It's just going to make us healthier. And so that's what the movement is all about. So that savage term, that is a term that was used to demean, to disrespect, and to tear us apart. And we've reclaimed that term now that we're using that term to build our communities, to um, do the things that we need to do as Indigenous peoples to protect our culture and to be able to pass on to the next generations the things that we hold dear, our languages and our customs and the things that we feel are important to us. And so, yeah, savage love. so, so let's talk more about the patch here. I actually have the patches, and I think if you're listening to this, obviously you can't see it, but if you're watching this on YouTube, I'll be streaming this um, on my YouTube. Well, it's streaming right now. I'm actually live on YouTube on two different channels, and then obviously it'll be there forever, so people can come check it out and watch the episode. But if you're listening to this on Spotify or another platform, you can go to my YouTube channel and Dr. B teaches sociology or seven generation now, and you can check out the patch because I'm going to grab the patches here and at least show you all. Give me 1 second. All right, so I have the patch. At least I'll show you guys here. I can hold it up, and you can kind of see it there. So see the top rocker is Savages. The bottom rocker is Turtle Island. So um, if you want to take a look at some of the pictures, you can go to our IG as well. You should follow us on IG. It's Savages MC, and we're trying to build up that page. So we got a small following, but like I said, we're just getting started here. But the center patch is actually um, some artwork by Douglas Miles, a San Carlos Apache artist, and he's also a good friend of mine. And we asked him to help us design the center patch. And so this is basically his artwork here, obviously with input from us. And I'm not going to give all the details of what the patch means, um, but has a lot of cultural significance. And like I said, I'm really excited to see where this goes. I'm going to put call it a toco. I'm going to put it down here. I'll show it one more time. All right. So Douglas Miles, he was the one who designed the patch for us. And big shout out to him. You should be following Doug on IG. He's an outstanding artist. He's been doing the good work for a long, long time, and really excited that we had a chance to collaborate with him, and he helped us out with the artwork for our patch. And I'm super stoked to be able to work with him again. So nicest MC jacket I've seen. Honestly, like I look at it, me, showing it here because we do have some people who are watching this live. Me holding it up and showing it, it looks great. But let me tell you, when you see it in person, when you see this patch in person, I was at a Savage and Pacific Savage event this past weekend, and when I saw myself and one of our other ECs, one of our other chiefs, we were looking at the patch, and man, I was just so happy with how it came out. I just think it's just a um, amazing job that everybody did. There was a lot of people. By the way, um, I'm not the one who designed everything. There's a lot of input by a lot of different people, a lot of people involved in this to make that whole patch design come to fruition. And I'm just happy that I was a part of that in some small way. But yeah, Doug, he really just, man, he just did a really great job. And I didn't give him a lot of time to do it. I basically hit him up and told him, "Hey, I have a project for you if you want to take it on, and I need it done as soon as as soon as you can get it done." So, but but yeah, so I'm really really happy with this. And again, I the Turtle Island bottom rocker has a lot of significance to me as a Pacific Savages. I wear that Turtle Island bottom rocker, and I think the majority of the Savages will wear Turtle Island. So, and some may wear mainland, but we're all one. And that's the thing. I think that's what I want people to know is that Pacific Savages and Savages, we're brothers. There isn't one club that is um, above the other. Now, let's just make it clear. I mean, Pacific Savages have been around for nearly 20 years. Pacific Savages have a lot of history. Pacific Savages have been through a lot of ups and downs and have had to do a lot to get to where they're at. And so we need to acknowledge that all the savages that are coming into this and all the savages who are going to wear that patch need to learn about Pacific Savages and need to learn the history and do their best to know as much about our organization and our roots as they possibly can. And I'm still learning. Always pick up something here and there. Talk to a member who's been around for a while. Always try to ask questions too. If I talk to a member who's been in the organization for a while, I'll just ask him about you know what it was like when things kicked off and whatnot. But yeah, savages should be um, um, a great opportunity for other folks to come into our empire and our organization and help us take this to another level. The learning never ends. That's right. The learning never ends. Like I said, some people making comments here on my live, and it doesn't ever end. It's one thing I'm always learning. And I'm always learning about this MC world that we live in as well, which is always really, really interesting. So, Savages Motorcycle Club, again, we kind of do a quick recap here, is not a support club. It's equal to Pacific Savages. And it's about growing our family. It's an indigenous movement. We have brothers in our organization from all over the Pacific, from the Hawaiian Islands to Guam, Chamorros, Samoans, Tongans, and a lot of Filipinos as well in our club. And so now hopefully we'll have more Native Americans who will be coming in. And we have, just so you guys know too, Native Americans don't have to be in the Savages. We have Native Americans who are in the Pacific Savages, like myself. And we have um, Islanders who may be a better fit for Savages. So it just depends on the fit, depends on the location and where somebody feels like, oh, this will be good for me, or maybe in their area that all there is Pacific Savages, and they feel like, hey, it's something they want to do. So, and there's a lot to this. Obviously, I'm just giving you everybody the basics. I mean, I don't have the right to talk about the ins and outs of our organization. I'm just trying to just give people a basic idea of why we have the Savages MC, and if there's some kind of confusion about it, and which I'm sure there is, people see it like, wow, hey, the patches look really similar, because they do. Patches look, when you see the patches side by side, I think it looks really cool when you see our patch, Pacific Savages, and you see a Savage and you see them there. It looks really, really cool. So I can't wait to see a bunch of Savages and a bunch of Pacific Savages on the road, just flying down the highway, wherever. So somebody asked, what do I ride? I ride an Indian Challenger 2021 and just got it out of the shop. Just had it serviced, just had my back tire replaced and my drive belt. So I'm broke now. It's an expensive thing. Owning a motorcycle is expensive. Let me tell you. It's fun to ride. It's fun to be out on the road, but man, it certainly is a very, very expensive hobby. For me, it's not really a hobby. I just call it a lifestyle, but but yeah. So, if there are people who are interested in knowing more about us, and again, it doesn't have to you don't have to be interested in the joining the club. Just being interested in supporting us, supporting our movement, and being a part of it in some way, or maybe there's an event you want us to go to, feel free to reach out, especially if we're on the West Coast. Reach out. I mean, we're all over from San Diego all the way up to Washington. So if there's an event you want us to go to, if it's a Native American event or if it's a Poly Islander event or there's something going on in the community, and you want us to come out, support it, we're definitely open to that. And like I said, we're about the community. That's the whole point is to be about the culture. It's like we call this like a culture movement. So we're trying to promote our cultures and to protect, the sacred, protect what we've been protecting since 1492. And so that's the goal is to protect our culture, to think about not just our generation, not just ourselves, to think about our communities and to think about the seven generations coming because that's part of our philosophy too is the seventh generation and thinking about them and being concerned about uh, the earth and being concerned about the welfare of our children, the welfare of our communities. And um, if nobody's going to take up that responsibility, then we should, right? We all should. And so that's kind of what I feel the Savages and Pacific Savages are all about. It's just, bettering ourselves as human beings, becoming um, better people, learning about our culture, also getting out in the community. And then, of course, having fun, having a good time. That's a big part of it is we like to have fun. That's the whole point for a lot of brothers is that, life has been hard for a lot of us. And this is a chance for us to get out there, enjoy our lives, get some, we call it wind therapy, have a good time, relax, and enjoy our culture, be around people who are like minded. A lot of us, we're in that grind every day. We go to work and we can't really just like be who we are as indigenous people. So when we get together, it's just us celebrating our life ways. So it says, wish I would have known we just had okay, yeah, Cal State, San Bernardino. Okay. Man, we would in the future, just let us know and we'll come out. I mean, I'll make it a point. If I have enough time, I will definitely come out. Let's see. Do you have somebody has a question here. Do you have any ties with the Indigenous MC Club Red Rum in Ontario? They support and protect a number of protests out here. No, we don't have a, a lot of ties with them. Of course, we know who they are. We're a little different than that organization. Um, in fact, I would say we're a lot different. Um, but yeah, we're very, very, very familiar with them, and they're where I live. Uh, they're out here, and I don't, I rarely see them out this way, but I know that they have a lot of members in Canada, which is a place I would love. I would love to get us out in Canada at some point in time. I think Savages would be a great MC to see riding around Canadian territory. So let's see here. Do I have a copy of the time walking papers? No, I don't. No, I do not. So, but yeah, this is, oh, what's going on? My man David he just pulled up here. Um, how you doing, my man? So I was talking about you, David, in my last episode. So again, like I said, if you're listening to this later on Spotify, this is streaming live right now on YouTube, and I'm going to upload it to Spotify and Apple Podcasts, all those different platforms later. But my last episode, David, I talked about you and talked about my gym and how I couldn't do my gym without you. So anyway, David Thole is one of my best friends, and he's been just incredibly supportive. So Meredith Quinn's work. No, I need to take a look at that. After I'm done here, I'll maybe do a little bit of research on Meredith Quinn's work, time walking papers. But yeah, the Savages and Pacific Savages Motorcycle Club have a lot of great uh, uh, work ahead of us, and I think we're going to be very, very successful, to say the least, obviously. So, and I'm going to put in as much work as I can. As long as I'm a part of the organization, nothing is guaranteed in the future, but as long as I'm a part of the Pacific Savages and I have a chance to help out with Savages, obviously I'm going to do everything I can do to um, offer up whatever I can in terms of knowledge or whatever. So I'm just going to keep pushing the movement on my end, and I hope all of our brothers do the same, because I think it's imperative that we all take responsibility. One of our sayings is, we're our brother's keeper, and I think we, holding ourselves accountable is, if we're a part of this organization, we want it to be the best, then we have to put in the work. So, and I'm all about it as long as I can, as long as I can do it. And I don't, take anything for granted. Anybody who knows me, I always talk about not taking anything for granted, and I do my best to really work hard on making sure that whatever I can do, whatever free time that I have that I can put into this, I'm going to put into it. Bird singers and fry bread at Morongo today. Oh, man, cannot go wrong with that. Enjoy your day, and if you need us in the future, just reach out and we'll be there. Man, bird singers and fry bread, what a great combination. Let's see. Hey, Dr. B had a question. Was there any tribe in the U.S. that were involved in during the Civil War? Oh yeah, I mean there are all kinds of during the Civil War. I know we're getting off topic here, going from savages to the Civil War, but yeah, there were actually tribes who fought on both sides, which is kind of interesting. So yeah, some tribes were split as well. Some tribes were pro-Union, some tribes were pro-Confederate. So just um, depended on the community and where they were located, and you know there's a lot to history that's really confusing at times, and I know learning some of that history just kind of tripped me out. But yeah, there were a lot of tribes involved in the Civil War. In fact, Stan Wadey, this is um, this is a historical fact, and please correct me if I'm wrong about this, but I believe this is historically factual, that Stan Wadey was a Cherokee general during the Civil War. He was a Confederate general, and he was the last general to surrender. So, a little bit of history there. Also, General Grant, he was the one that oversaw the Union forces, at least one of the generals, one of the most important ones. And of course, he became a future president. One of his best friends was Native American, and I cannot think of his name off the top of my head. If somebody knows, please remind me. But anyway, he was Native American, and he drafted the surrender agreement that was signed at Appomattox. Yeah, Fort Appomattox. I don't know if it's Fort Appomattox, but anyway, when Grant and Lee, they met up. It was General Grant's really good friend. And there you go. He was Seneca. Eli, please tell me his full name. He was Seneca. I knew he was Six Nations. Is it Eli Parker? I think it's Eli Parker. Yeah, I guess I could look it up right now. I mean, I'm in front of my computer. It's Eli Parker. So that's right, Eli Parker. I think he was Seneca. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. But anyway, Eli Parker, he drafted the surrender agreement that was signed at Appomattox, and he was a really good friend with Grant, and I think he really influenced Grant quite a bit in his policies, his so-called peace policies. And I'm not saying Grant was like this great president, treated natives well, because that's not even true. Yeah, his last name was Parker, Eli Parker. But anyway, he was he rode with Grant. He was his one of his right-hand men. So anyway, what time we got here? We're about 41 minutes into this podcast, and I think I accomplished my goal. I'm going to sign off here real soon, but I appreciate all the listeners. And again, if you have any questions about Pacific Savages, again, I'm not talking about people who want to become members. We don't recruit. That's one thing. I'll say this: we're not recruiting members. I mean, we want people to come to us. We want people to want to be a part of our organization, and we want people to join the movement because they want to join them, because they like what they see. We don't go out there trying to recruit anybody. That's not how we do things. We don't have to recruit, because I think our organization speaks for itself. But so what we do though is, like, we talked about our organization when people are interested. So yeah, let's see what else we have here. But yeah, anyway, if you want to know more, just looking at the chat, if you want to know more about Pacific Savages or Savagez MC, or if you want us to come out, reach out. Again, you can follow Pacific Savages on IG, TikTok. There's a website. And of course, you can reach out to me on 7 Gen Podcast on IG, or Merciless Savages on TikTok. I'm always open to answer questions in regards to our organization. Is at least whatever questions I can answer. So again, I really do appreciate all the listeners out there. Let's get my outro music going right here. I like that beat. So this is 7 Generation Podcast, and I'm really happy to share a little bit about my life with you all, and the things that I do, and things that are going on with my club, or things I have going on at my gym, or just life in general. So appreciate the support that I've had over the years in doing the podcast. And well, I said this in my last episode. If you did watch it on YouTube, it's streaming already. Thank you. I appreciate that. Much love and respect as well. Thank you, cousin. I know I'm not very, very consistent. I just do the podcast when I can. That's like the key. I always hear that whenever I read up on, how to grow on social media. You always got to be consistent. But I always say this: I have a full-time job, and then I run the gym, and then, club, family life, all of that. So I do the best that I can in putting out the best content possible. And I don't always have the free time, but when I do, and I can put content out, I'm really happy. And I've had a lot of support from a lot of people. I'm very, very thankful for that. So y'all take care. This is the 7 Generation Podcast. This is Dr. B. Go support the Pacific Savagez MC and the Savagez MC. All right, y'all. Later.